organizers of this program for finding me worthy to come and present a keynote address on this program. I also appreciate the area director, who also deemed it fit to let you, the organizers, know that there is the zonal office, and this zonal office is headed by somebody who is in my very personal self. My names are Said M. Kibal, and in fact, I appreciate you for your effort. And let me observe these protocols as well. The key organizers of this conference, the education secretary, the area director, once again, good morning. Please permit me to present my keynote address. My address here, in fact, is, as you say, it is key. It is short and very brief. I'm not to lecture, but I'm to present a keynote address. Having observed the laid down rules or regulations, that is the protocols which I have stated earlier, I now present my presentation. Here, one, that is the introduction. If you look at what a godly teacher is, in fact, he's a person that gives godly teaching to the students. So teaching has been one of the noblest professions, as it is said, and which you know, every one of you here knows, that is the most noblest profession so far on earth. We have heard of Jesus Christ sending away people in the church when they were selling goods in the church which was not good. So, in fact, he is a teacher, teaching them to follow the right path rather than the wrong path. So, a teacher is a person that always do the things that fit the society. So, it is the art and science of promoting learning. That is, teaching is the art and science of promoting learning. And therefore, a teacher is a professional person operating with professional skills, judgment, according to SELECT 2001. So here, it is saying that the teacher imparts knowledge to the learners. In fact, you cannot be a teacher that you cannot impart knowledge to the students. You are the person to source for teaching materials. You are a person to plan. You are the person to do whatsoever to see that the students learn the necessary things. So a teacher selects and organizes learning materials. By this, he evaluates the learner's materials and himself. After teaching, what the teacher does, in fact, is that he has to evaluate the students. First of all, he has to select the materials, considering the age differences. You know there are certain developmental stages in human development. That is, from the infancy to childhood, to adolescent, to the adult stage. So as a teacher, you have to consider all of this. And after teaching the students certain subject, you have to evaluate them by testing them, collecting their work, mark it, give them the feedback. So that makes you a godly teacher. So in undergoing the above, the teacher should be able to abide by the following rules and regulations. A, to ensure classroom planning before undergoing his tasks. You have to plan. You follow the curriculum, you plan the lesson note, you break the curriculum into workable units, week in, week out, to enable you capture the interest of the students. B, plan for individual differences. In a class, you find out that not all students are the same. Some learn faster than others. Some are slow learners, some are fast learners. And that you should also consider the introvert and extrovert as well. So in a class, you cannot avoid this. So in teaching a class, as a teacher, you have to consider that some students learn faster than others. So a godly teacher must take cognizance of that. C, she has to select experiences that will stimulate learning. You cannot just go into the class and begin to teach. You have to select materials, experiences that are suitable to the students, considering the age differences as well. A lesson that is taught for class 3, you cannot teach that lesson to class 1. So all this, you have to consider them to make learning significant to the students. D, master the subject matter well through researches and well ahead of time. So you have to master your subject area. If you are a biologist, make sure you master the area very well. If you are a graduate of physics, make sure that you ensure perfection in your field, so that to avoid some mistakes where students will copy them wrong. So you have to consider these things and make planning and master your subject area as well. 2, silent issues. Before I tell you something about silent issues, let me give you one example before I go on this. A teacher of a class found out that a student stole a sharpener of his mate. So what the teacher does, in fact, is that the boy did was that he reported the issue to his class master. And what later on followed was that the class master asked all the students to stand up. They all stood up and asked them to all blindfold their eyes. After blindfolding their eyes, he wrote on a sheet of paper that stealing is bad. Then he held that paper in his hand, moves around with the paper, and then searching the students, one after the other. As he came across one student who stole that sharpener, he just removed the sharpener and replaced it with the note in his hand into his pocket. After his sight was done and dusted, he told the students to open their eyes. All of them opened their eyes. He said, "Look, see, I've found the sharpener." So he called the owner of the sharpener, and that boy came and got the sharpener. And he told the boy that as far as the sharpener is gotten, there is no any issue. In fact, he could not reveal the name of that boy up to graduation. The boy, in fact, graduated after 6 years of his primary school, went to university, and in fact got a very suitable position in government. One day, in an occasion like this, the boy came and found out that teacher was there during that occasion. With that, in fact, the teacher has forgotten about that boy. So when he saw that teacher, he knows the teacher, but the teacher could not know him anymore. So he went and greeted him. After sometimes the conference or the meeting was done, he called him aside and told him the story just as I have told you. He said, "I was the boy who stole that sharpener, but you could not reveal me. In fact, sir, I'm very happy. If you had revealed me, I would have left school. That was what I was having in mind. In fact, because you have hid that issue up to this day, it is only God's making that has brought me here." And he asked the teacher to pray for him. And they prayed. In fact, after that, the boy gave that teacher some amount of money by telling him, in fact, he has helped him much. He is a teacher of religion. If he has revealed him, he would have become, in fact, an abused child in the society. So, such issues sometimes in the class, what I'm trying to say, in fact, is that when you observe certain things like that in the class, you should not reveal it yet. Sometimes, if you don't forget, you call that child aside, or you leave it go. So, if that teacher would have called that boy publicly, it was in his heart to leave the school. So, the teacher closed the matter, and in fact, it has made him somebody. He thanks the teacher for it. So sometimes, not all issues in the class will disgrace a child. So certain issues that are silent, you have to keep them. It is only God that gave that teacher that wisdom. If not, the boy would have been an abused child in the society. See how important the boy look like in the society today. So you look at the silent issues. The teacher as a facilitator of learning is most important tool in the education, for it is the teacher that decides to set the teaching environment in such a way that will enhance people's learning. So a good teacher should be kind, honest, fair, strict, and pragmatic in his doing. So as a teacher, you need to develop those human qualities of personality and character that will make you godly, because you can reach and make real contact with your students. You see, after the teacher has discovered that boy stole the sharpener, you could not reveal him. You see, it has made that boy reach a target in life. So, these qualities must be obtained through constant, conscious effort. And to crown it all, it is therefore important to emphasize that all teachers should be professional and should take and sound to take up the challenges. For sure, not every person who wants to be a teacher should be a teacher. Therefore, a teacher is born and not made. Made teachers are the ones that live the profession. But born teachers are those teachers that, in fact, stand firmly in the profession and defend the profession up to their retirement age in the service. So, we are saying here that teachers are born and have the fear of God in them. They take their students as important as themselves and are humble and good and God-fearing. 3, what makes a teacher is how his pupils reach to him through the following qualities as listed by Farah, 1976. According to Farah, 1, demonstration of knowledge of subject area. So it's like you want to teach the 2 different types of animals digestive system. We talk of monogastric and polygastric animals. So mono is one and poly is many. And therefore, you have to demonstrate with the digestive system of the different types of animals. Poly, referring to many, you have to give the proper example of polygastric animal. Sheep, goat, cow, they are polygastric. And then mono is only one. You look at rat, even man, dog is polygastric because they have single digestive system. So that makes them monogastric animals. You have to demonstrate it by showing those things practically too in the class. So, 2, constantly learning because curriculum changes year by year. You have to go into researches from time to time. As a good lead teacher, you have to make researches because if you are used to one source of information, that will not better the system of education. It is better you go on making researches because your curriculum sometimes is changed from another year to the other year. So, and as you make researches, you will also consider the students' needs and teachers on undergoing development. So, 3, collaboration with other teachers and school mission. You cannot single-handedly just say you are a teacher. You continue teaching your subject without even consulting other teachers. As you make consultations, you find out that you also improve your knowledge and also transfer it to your students. So you should make consultations through some teachers as well to enable you update your knowledge and sometimes your experiences And sometimes the method you use too can be applied in explaining you borrow an idea from another teacher in explaining certain situations in the class. So it is good, as a godly teacher, you have to go in collaboration with other teachers to make researches. Knowledge of child development, which I have told you that you look at the age differences, that is from the adult, infant, and then childhood, and then adolescent. All these things you have to consider the knowledge of child development. So, 5, sense of humor. You have to be considerate. Do not be harsh to students. 6, wanting to teach. Seeing teaching as a lifestyle and not a job. So you have to consider teaching as a lifestyle, not as a job. So, and you have to be caring as well. You have to be human. So, 7, seeking outside resources and integrate them into the curriculum. You are asked to teach let's say the elementary system or the digestive system of monogastric animal, and this may not cause you to go to the market or to check polygastric. Let me go to polygastric. You just go to the market and buy the elementary system of a sheep, of a goat, and then bring it to the class to teach these students. That will make the resources very clear to the students. So, high standard for self and students demand excellence, not only of himself, but your student as well. Get students excited about learning by inspiring them to go beyond their comfort levels in learning. Need to be dedicated, enthusiastic, creative, be willing to learn ahead. You have to be dedicated to your duty every now and then. Some teachers, if you look at them, and godly teachers, let me put that way, they do not come to the school on time. They do not learn very well, and they do not come to school on time to give out their lessons, and they are not creative at all. And in fact, if you are not doing this, you find out that your student may not learn, and therefore a good teacher should be dedicated, creative, and willing to learn, move ahead of the class. So, a God-fearing teacher must embed all these qualities. Rules are laid down for us to follow as teachers. Psalm 119, verse 4. If you go through that, you will get that information. So you have to be God-fearing so that it can qualify you a godly teacher. 4. How can we, as godly teachers, enhance excellent performance for our students? It is pertinent that a godly teacher will do this with the fear of God. He is always in school and in good time. He is the one that Psalm 119, that verse 31 will come out of his lips. I have chosen the way of truth. I have set my heart on your ways, and he must keep by his words. So these are some of the things a teacher, a godly teacher should look like. Believing in the students and offering support throughout the school year can help improve the achievement levels. When the students are getting honest response and help, can help them to improve on their weak areas. It is easier to maintain motivation. Improving the behavior of students in the classroom is part of the teacher's job. So you have to improve the standard of the students, which is part of your job as a teacher. A godly teacher does this to achieve a lot of aims and objectives of teaching his students. Let us consider these 5 tips that may make us as teachers who are determined to get the best out of our students. 4.1. Align instruction to learning standards. Instruction for an assignment should always be clearly aligned to the learning target and tasks for mastering the learning standard. We can best know that our students have met the learning standard if we use a measurable learning target. Likewise, we should align our feedback strategies to the learning tasks to help our students master a learning target. So after teaching the students, what they are saying here, in fact, is that you have to give them assignment, make sure you mark the assignment, assess them, and give them back the feedback. And your comments also should not be all that coarse. It should be very soft so that it can encourage the students. 4.2. Include formative assessment. Ross Sadler, Professor Emeritus at Garfield University, Australia, suggests that students must be able to understand quality work and be able to assess the quality of their work. As a good teacher, you have to provide an avenue for the students to get quality work so that they can also give you quality answers. But if the work is not qualitative, in fact, they will not give you qualitative answers as you are assessing them. So give your students examples of quality work so that they should have something they can compare their work to and can identify their learning gaps themselves. This helps to show where students need improvement. Students become more motivated about learning and confident in their abilities. 4.3. Provide considerable feedback. Education experts, as Paul Black and Dylan William, found that students whose teachers have used formative assessment with them significantly improved their performance on standardized tests. As a result, the highest gains occurred from lower performing students. So, 4.4. Use the feedback loop concept. This involves teachers and students simultaneously collecting and analyzing students' learning improvement. Student movement from one learning target to another works best when students receive feedback to help them improve. Students rely on feedback to improve on their weaknesses. So as you mark or you give students, you assess the students you give them the feedback so that it can encourage them. Then others will look for the gray areas where they have found wanting. Then they would also like to improve on where they are weak, and to also those that got the required marks will also want to go ahead as well, because they would like to recite more to be ahead of others. So 4.5, self-assessment regularly. You self-assess regularly. As teachers, you should self-assess yourselves. How well they perform these 3 activities. So you assess yourself as well as to the performance of the student. Have you done well in your presentation? Because after marking, you are also assessing yourself. As you teach the students, after marking, you find out that some students will pass, some will fail. Then you are also assessing yourself. So as a good teacher, you have to assess yourself through that as well. So 1, my students clearly see how one day of learning builds on the next day of learning. 2, I create opportunities where my students receive continuous and specific feedback that help them improve. 3, I constantly recognize my students' strengths. These are the 5 tips that can help teachers better themselves so that they can better help their students. In conclusion, my role as the special guest of honor is to deliver a keynote address. Let me not bore you, my dear listener, but challenge you to take every paper presented serious, and I assure you we will raise godly teachers that will enhance students' excellent performance. Thanks for listening, and may we all return to our respective schools fully refreshed with all the blessings of God in Jesus' name.